Hey everyone, Brandon here, and in the month of August I challenged you guys to make a bunch of dragon Pokemon. So today I'm going to be taking a look at some of my favorites from that challenge. So let's go ahead and get started with Zenan from Luxray Draw Stuff. It's a dragon psychic type, and I really like how they incorporated the psychic type with this kind of crystal ball in its hands, the ball in its mouth, the jewel on its head. It reminds me of Eastern dragons, how like some of them will have like the jewels or golden orbs in their hands. Kind of Dragon Ball Z-esque. And there's a whole myriad of inspirations for this Pokemon in the description, and I'll just name a few. There's the Bakunawa from Filipino myth that's like the serpent-like dragon that wants to eat the moon. Hati, which is a wolf that also wants to devour the moon during Ragnarok. Wolf snakes, which are a species of snake. And the Ouroboros, which apparently had a wolf-like head in some early depictions. It all comes together really well, and you can kind of see those wolf-like aspects in its head with the kind of like scales looking like fur, and then the sharper, more pointed ears or horns. I'm not sure which these are. Then also from Luxray Draw Stuff is Sudar, which is a rock type, and I'm pretty sure this is based on those kinds of snakes that have like the tail that looks like a spider, so birds will like pounce on it to try and see if they can get the kill the spider and eat it, and then the snake will attack them. Yeah, it says in the description, it's the spider-tailed horned viper. So it looks like Sudar is doing kind of the same thing with a bounce suite, but it is also emulating a princess locked away in a castle tower, and the dragon protecting the castle, so it's like all mixed into one. That's really clever. It's also additionally clever because the bounce suite line evolves into Sarina, which is like royalty. Sudile evolves into Sudadel, like Citadel, and it is a rock dragon type now, and it's gone full-on castle mode and has a Steenie instead at the top of the tower. I also like that it has these like mossy patterns that actually match the color of the Steenie on the top of the tower. The Steenie evolving from the bounce suite of the previous stage is clever in and of itself, but in combination with this like mossy pattern, it kind of emulates the princess being locked away for a long time. Like, it gives some kind of passage of time alongside this evolution, which I think is really cool. And hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Next, from D&D Fakemon, we have Gmax Hydrapple. We had Gmax Flapple and Appleton, which were the same Pokemon, so where's our Gmax Hydrapple? It's right here. I also like how it looks like it's referencing the Dynatree, and that there's this little shiny Applin, this just the little one right there. Also, the basis of the Applin line is kind of like the serpent that gave the apple to Eve in the Garden of Eden. So this serpent becomes the tree, as well as the serpents coming from the tree offering the apples up. All these elements come together really, really well. Also from D&D Fakemon, we have an Iron Jugulus redesign. I think Iron Jugulus is one of the most boring Future Paradox Pokemon, so having this redesign where it turns into basically like some kind of like battle tank helicopter thing is epic. Turning the three heads into the heads of a cannon, I think, is so great. It's honestly such an improvement from the original, and I just had to feature it. Next up from Nahid Ahmed, we have a literal bookworm with Wyovel. It's a ghost dragon type, and like I said, it's a literal bookworm, spelled W-Y-R-M, not W-O-R-M. I think this concept is just so fun. I like the pages, how they incorporated it. I love how the books have its typing on there. I'm wondering what that third book has on it. It looks interesting. There's some kind of symbol on there that I want to see what it is. And one small detail I love is that its tongue is actually like a bookmark that is streaming through each of these books and connecting them together. Then from Jolly Mega 97, we have Fierce Fluff, which is a paradox form of Whimsicott. And isn't it the just cutest little dragon you've ever seen? What I also love about this Pokemon is that the addition of its tail makes it look like a full standing dandelion plant. And the way its mane comes out, it kind of looks like Pyroar, so it's a dandelion. I also wanted to show this concept page because look at it against the Argent, and then it's like breathing fire even though it's a grass dragon type. I love that. Next from Kiki Doodle Art, we have a fairy dragon type that does not have a name, but I just enjoyed it so much. Apparently this was also for Subjectively's Smaugust challenge, so the theme was Prism, so it's, you know, a rainbow prism dragon. This is just another cutesy one that I thought was so adorable, and I just wanted to show you guys because of just how adorable it is. And you know what? You know, it's a pride dragon as well. I mean, it is a couple months late, but yeah, pride dragon. And next up is another crossover of challenges from Taro Ghost. This is actually fruit up from a challenge by QJ Cosmic where he challenged people to make an evolution to this Pokemon. You should definitely check out QJ Cosmic. He's a buddy of mine getting into the Fakemon scene, so definitely check out their work. But Taro made an evolution to Fruitopt, and that is Nursula. This evolution is just wild. It looks like it's coming out of the body of Fruitopt, which is just so morbid. and it has Galarian Corsola just climbing all over it. It almost looks like it absorbed the soul of Galarian Corsola, which makes sense considering it evolves when you have a Galarian Corsola in your party. After that, from Audendra, we have Squirm, which is a Dragon Steel type. It's just a cutie little dragon that's also based on a knight, and you know, knights and dragons are kind of synonymous. But it also kind of has a frog vibe to it, which I like. But it evolves into Draggadon, which is Paladin plus Dragon. I've played a Paladin 2 times in D&D, so I have a special place in my heart for Paladins, so of course I wanted to include this Mon. Then from Fakemon, we have Bishibashi, which is a bug-type convergent form of Wishy-Washy, and its schooling form turns into a bug dragon type. This design is just so cool. For 1, it's a conversion Pokemon. For 2, it changes what the original Pokemon's ability does. And 3, that original ability gets changed so that it's a dragon now. And changing Wishy-Washy into a Dragonfly-esque Mon that turns into a dragon schooling form is just so clever. Next, from Tazo's Fakemon, they did a body type swap of the legendary Weather Trio. So starting us off, we have Kyogre with Groudon's body type, which is a Water Dragon type. I'm having trouble putting into words how cool this is. It's like they took the kaiju-ness of Groudon and infused it into Kyogre and made this epic beast. Next, we have Groudon with Rayquaza's body type, which is Ground Dragon type. I love this thing's elongated armored body, and the adding of the wings was a nice touch. And this thing just has the cheekiest smile, like, yeah, I know I'm epic. Last but not least, we have Rayquaza with Kyogre's body type, which is still Dragon Flying type, and this one's just hilarious. They just squished him. They just squished his little body and gave him these big old flippers. Next, from Plubcoal, with the help of Trainer Rex, we have Plugit and Ouroboros. This concept is so fun and clever, like taking a snake and turning it into a wire with an outlet, and then having that outlet plug into itself as an Ouroboros reference. Incredible. Also, I'm pretty sure this is referencing double-headed snakes, which are like a weird phenomenon in nature. And speaking of Trainer Rex, they also did their own entry, which is Masstooth and Ferrosail, which are rock dragon types. These look like if you took Feraligatr, Crocodile, and Tyrantrum and then mashed them into one. I want them to be real. I want these, they look like a rival to Tyrantrum. Like, this was the natural-born rival of Tyrantrum, but they were like in different Pokemon ages, so they never interacted. Very Jurassic Park-esque kind of showdown. Rex also made Emperonian Mawile and Dracilla, which are dark dragon type, which both act as a reference to the Greek mythological creature, the Scylla, which was this creature that was said to sink ships underneath the water and like lived across from another monster, which was called Charybdis. I love me some Greek myths, so this one was definitely a win in my book. And the designs are just so epic. I mean, the way they transform Mawile's head mouth into like this serpentine kind of creature and then expanded upon that upon its evolution, almost kind of Medusa-esque. Next, from the Fakemon channel, we have Mordovern, which is a fire dragon type, I believe, and it is a Mordor Wyvern. I adore Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and the Rings of Power, even though some people give that show a lot of crap. But I mean, I've heard the second season's really good. But combining the Eye of Sauron with a dragon is so well done. Like the way that they have these like frills of fire coming out next to its big old eye, like you can completely see the Eye of Sauron there. Next, from Devessa Illustrations, we have Chi-Ching, which you might think looks like Chi-Yu, but it's actually something different. It's actually kind of the antithesis to Chi-Yu, but also in combination with Gholdengo, where it's made from these sacred coins that were sunk at the bottom of the ocean, but when those coins are collected again, it enters this treasure form, which you can see on the bottom left. Next, from Mr. Pixel, we have Mega Pyukumuku, which is a water dragon type, and I think this concept is so funny. You can see the little spines on its back have turned into these big old spikes, and then the little thing it ejects out of its mouth has become like this almost Kazu from Monster Hunter-esque dragon. It's hilarious, it's creepy, it's epic, it's got the whole package. Next, from Zebra Knight 1, we have Savage Horde, which is a past Paradox version of Hoopa in their Unbound form. It's a dark dragon type, and this thing is so cool. It's just so cool. Like, Unbound Hoopa is such an epic design, but changing that into like this draconic dinosaur-esque being is just, it's just so epic. And then we have a future Paradox form for Zygarde, which is Iron Paragon. Its dragon fighting typing makes me almost feel like this is a antithesis to Savage Horde, like this is the knight that faces the dragon. I also love how this just kind of feels like a Power Ranger or like a Megazord or something like that. I'm a huge Power Ranger stan, as you guys know, if you've been a longtime viewer of the channel. And so, like, to have that incorporated into this design is like great for me. Then lastly, from Zebra Knight, we have a defusion of Flygon, with Flygon being one of my absolute favorite Pokemon. Of course I had to feature this. So first we have Odonafly, which is a bug dragon type, the bug dragon typing that many people wanted Flygon to be. This feels like it really leans into the dragonfly adult antlion kind of aesthetic, and it's almost a little creepy. And then we have Gangahara, which is a ground dragon type, and it kind of feels like it takes away all the insectoid elements and makes it more serpentine and draconic. Then from Razor Ninja 56, we have Recorin Noivern, which is a dark dragon type. They made it into more of a vampire bat mixed with a vampire, very Dracula, and I love that. It's a simple concept and design shift, but it works so well. Like making a Dracula dragon, a Dragula, if you will. Rob Zombie, don't come for me, or drag queens also don't come for me. But those two concepts together is so cool. Then from Damien Dimension, we have Hurricanus, which is a flying dragon type, and it is the 5th member of the Genies. It is based on the yellow dragon that is said to sit in the middle of the cardinal directions that the Genie Therian forms are based on. I like how the tail is a different coloration. I kind of feel like that would be what was coming over the shoulder in its incarnate form. Also in mixture with its yellow coloration and long neck, kind of looks like Girafarig or Farigiraf. Then from Map 4265, we have Fantasti, which is a Poltegeist evolution. And it has 2 different forms, the Damsel Brew and the Warden Brew. Just like Sudar, who we mentioned earlier, this is the princess in the castle and the dragon that protects it, but these are 2 different forms. I love the idea of the princess and the dragon being the same entity, but just like on opposite ends, but also infusing this whole T-Ghost situation into it. It's just so clever and unique. Then from Nuiji, we have Gimmighoul, which is a steel dragon type, which evolves into Golden Naga, which is also a steel dragon type, which refers to dragons who hoard gold. But the dragon is the gold itself. I love this concept. I love how Golden Naga has the pot of gold as its main body. And the idea of switching from a treasure chest to a pot of gold, the thing that's, you know, at the end of the rainbow, leprechauns and all that, I think is so fun. Like, this form of Gimmighoul is the leprechaun inside the pot of gold, and then it evolves into the dragon that protects the gold. Then we have Zonagon from Bilsuart, which is a rock dragon type, and it is based on the Zonai constructs from Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I think this design is so clever because it feels like you could like blueprint this out and make this dragon in-game. Like, the head, I'm pretty sure, is modeled after the piece of Zonai tech that can be a flamethrower. Honestly, this is the perfect crossover between Zelda and Pokemon because I feel like it belongs in both franchises. I could honestly see this in either game. Next, from Pokemon Space Odyssey, we have Sun Hydra, which is a grass dragon type evolution to Sunkern. I would have thought it was an evolution to Sunflora, but this thing is crazy looking. It reminds me a bit of Blossomon from Digimon. The way that it has one continuous mouth across each of the faces is wild looking, but also very much fits the space motif of this account. Also, the dragon typing, not only coming from the fact that like it's a Hydra, but also it's like almost alien nature, I think is really cool. Next, from Pokemon Horizons Orcadia Dex, we have Zillit, Graphelion, and Krylafiti. They're all based on horned lizards and graffiti, obviously, and these were actually designed before Graphii was announced. I do love this line because it does feel so different. I mean, it's a poison dragon type, and it's based on spray paint graffiti, not just like the little, you know, finger painting that Graphii does. Last but certainly not least, from Kazakin, we have Jotonian Fracture and Jotonian Haxorus, which are both dragon fighting type. This is just so epic, giving Haxorus a samurai armor aesthetic. Are you kidding? Also, the coloration just works so well, and like a samurai dragon, I love that concept. Its arms are almost insectoid, which I find interesting because it almost refers to Kabutomushi, or samurai helmet beetle, which is the Japanese rhinoceros beetle. Either way, both of these designs are just simply fantastic. And those are my favorites of this Draconic challenge. As much as it pains me to say, there will be no challenge in September, so we're stopping the challenges for now. I kind of just wanted to do them over the summer because I thought it would be a fun thing to do. But I may come back with a challenge every once in a while, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled. Thank you so much to our incredible members whose names you can see on screen for supporting this channel with their hard-earned money, which you can also do by hitting that join button. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.